The scandal minister fired. ARD and ZDF tried to cover everything up. We are all being lied to and most don't even notice. While ARD and ZDF remain silent, a scandal is erupting behind closed doors that is shaking confidence in the government and the media. Minister of State for Culture Wolfram Weimer has been dismissed for massive copyright infringements on his own portal. And how does the system react? With silence, with looking away. Because in Germany there has long been an unwritten law. Scandals only become big if they don't harm the government. Everything else is sat out, repressed, kept secret. But not this time. This time the truth comes to light. The journalist Alexander Walesch uncovers the dirty truth. Weimer's own debate portal, The European, has done on a grand scale exactly what he accuses others of. It has stolen texts from authors, created fake profiles for them, and presented them as part of its own team. The scandal is widening. Aeneas reveals that nationally known names are among the victims. Hans-Georg Maaßen, the former president of the Office for the Protection of the Constitution, the plagiarism hunter Stefan Weber, who is now himself considering legal action, and, in a particularly ironic twist, the NIUS journalist Pauline Voss herself. An excerpt from her book was simply stolen and published on Weimer's site. But the most prominent victim is AfD leader Alice Weidel. Up to 100 of her texts were published without her permission. Her office makes it clear that neither has Alice Weidel ever written as an author for the platform The European, nor was she asked for the corresponding release of these publications. Her spokesman dryly comments on Weimer's moralizing speech. Sweep in front of your own door first. The evidence is overwhelming. NIUS has archived the original list of authors and the pages before Weimer's team began to frantically cover up the tracks and delete the profiles. The scandal is perfect. A minister, a preacher of morality, is exposed as a thief. An acting federal minister is involved in a massive copyright scandal, a scandal that is making waves internationally. Richard Grenell, one of the most influential diplomats in the USA, shares the revelations on X and mocks the minister's hypocrisy. The White House has been informed. Bild, T-Online. The Berliner Zeitung, all major media are reporting. Only two institutions are silent. Two institutions that actually have the task of controlling the powerful. Two institutions that are compulsorily financed by the citizens with over 8 billion euros per year, ARD and ZDF. However, viewers of ARD and ZDF learn nothing about this, the source code states. Not a word in the 8 p.m. Tagesschau on Saturday, not a word in the Tagesschau on Sunday, not a word in the Heute Journal on the weekend. It is a concerted action of silence, a deliberate cover-up. The impression arises that the affair is deliberately being sat out. Instead of reporting on the scandal in their own country, the public broadcasters are diverting attention. The allegedly most important news on Saturday: protests against Trump. An event thousands of kilometers away is more important than a tangible scandal in the German federal government. This is no longer journalistic failure. It is complicity. ARD and ZDF are protecting a minister because he is part of their establishment. They are ignoring a scandal because it was uncovered by the wrong people, by right-wing journalists like Alexander Walesch and the alternative media like NIUS, whom they so despise. From my personal point of view, this is no longer just a media scandal. It is a betrayal of the public, a betrayal of all the people who are forced to pay fees every month in the belief that they are financing honest, independent journalism. But instead, they are financing silence, cover-ups and favors. If ARD and ZDF once again report nothing in the Weimar case, then this is no oversight, it is the system. One remembers similar cases. When scandals surrounding government consultants, vaccine contracts or dubious payments in ministries came to light, the echo of the public broadcasters was always the same silence or relativization. Those who were actually supposed to control the powerful are protecting them instead. And this hits particularly hard those who still remember times when news meant something. People who work day after day, pay their contributions in the hope of truth, and then have to experience that their public broadcasters have become the extended press office of the government. The Weimar case is not a slip-up. It is the symptom of a rotten system that protects itself while squandering the trust of its viewers. But this time, the old game of silence failed. The free media bloggers and independent journalists have taken over what ARD and ZDF should have done long ago. Expose, question, put pressure on. The net became the new fourth power and the truth found its way, despite not thanks to the public broadcasters. I believe that this is exactly the point at which many viewers finally lose trust. Those who feel lied to no longer tune in. He is looking for new sources, and that is the beginning of the end for a system that has long lost its compass. Merz was in a dilemma. He could not keep in office a minister who had been convicted of systematic theft, especially not a Minister of State for Culture who is responsible for copyright. The hypocrisy was too obvious, the international damage too great. At the same time, he did not want to publicly admit the scandal. That would have been a humiliation for his entire government, and it would have been a triumph for the alternative media, which he and his party so despise. So he chose the path of secret operation. On the night from Sunday to Monday, sources from the Chancellery report, a crisis meeting took place. Merz is said to have made it unmistakably clear to Weimar that he was no longer acceptable. He demanded his immediate resignation. The public should not find out about this. It was planned to announce the resignation in a few days with a flimsy justification: health reasons, new professional challenge. It was hoped to cover up the connection with the theft scandal in this way. But the plan failed. A courageous insider from the Chancellery leaked the information to the new media. On Monday morning at 9 a.m., the bomb exploded. NRUS was the first medium to report Weimar fired. The shocking news reached Germany not via the Tagesschau, not via the Heute Journal, but via the internet. It was a revolution in the media landscape. The old gatekeepers who had believed they could control what Germans learned and what not were levered out. The truth had made its way. The dismissal of Wolfram Weimar and the way it came to light mark a turning point. It is the end of an era, the end of the era in which ARD and ZDF possessed sole interpretive authority over reality in Germany. The Weimar case is only the latest example of the growing power of the alternative media. The source code recalls the case of the failed judge candidate Frauke Brosius-Gersdorf. Here too it was alternative media such as News and Apollo News that led the campaign and were ultimately successful. This new media reality is the establishment's nightmare. There is no control, there is no access control to the spin, to the narrative anymore, as Julian Reichelt put it. The old power structures are disintegrating, and a new, dynamic, often chaotic, but also more democratic media landscape is taking their place. A landscape in which scandals can no longer simply be sat out. A landscape in which the truth comes to light in the end, even if the old media giants try to cover it up. The Weimar case is therefore more than just the case of a single hypocritical minister. It is the case of an entire system, the system of mutual cover-up, of silence, of concealment. The shocking news of Weimar's dismissal has reached Germany, and it has shown the citizens. Do not trust the old authorities. Inform yourselves. Search for the truth, because the truth will no longer be presented to you in the Tagesschau.